A board of directors for a Chamber of Commerce frequently asks the questions, who is this Chamber Revenue Strategies? I'm not sure I've ever heard of you before. And let me begin by saying to you that the business was formed for one purpose, and that is to work exclusively with, as the name implies, chambers of commerce around the country. That's our entire business. And what we do for those chambers is we provide a substantial non-dues revenue opportunity. And I know that you've looked at other non-dues revenue opportunities before, maybe approved non-dues opportunities, but this is going to be unique in that it's not going to be a token amount. It's going to rival your dues revenue. The quick way to get your mind around the total would be about $6 for every adult resident in your community. And I believe you have a proposal that has a projection as to what we're looking for in the way of a simulated check. And I can tell you that I didn't pull that number out of the air. It's honestly the single most conservative number, the single most conservative check that I could envision your chamber receiving over the course of a year. In addition to that, maybe even more importantly, we'll assist you in providing a tool for your members to be able to solve their single most vexing problem. What is the most challenging problem your members face, particularly your small business members? How do I attract into my business on a weekly basis a steady stream of new customers that are excited to trade with me and eager to give me their future business and loyalty and referrals? And they will only be able to achieve that through their relationship with the chamber. What we're going to talk about is something that is simply not available to them if they're not riding the coattails as a member in good standing with your Chamber of Commerce. And then we're going to make an enormous splash in your community. Frankly, there's going to be a prodigious amount of goodwill. You'll be on the thoughts and the lips and the social media of all of your residents in the community. And that can't help but spill over favorably into your members' space and, of course, your space as the Chamber of Commerce. And then let me say to you that we will be the single most effective sales tool for recruiting or attracting new members that you've ever experienced in the history of your chamber. We'll outgenerate new memberships brought to your chamber 5 or 10 to 1 to your current activities. And how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to approach every single non-member in the community about this dynamic new program, and we're going to tell them, you have to be a member in good standing with the chamber to participate. So we're going to communicate with them, every single business in your community, that they need to consider a program that is going to be the buzz, the talk of the town, but they must be a member in good standing with your chamber to participate. Lastly, this buzz in the community is going to act as a glue to hold your existing members, maintain your members and cut attrition, and even assist you in winning back former members. I realize when a Chamber of Commerce board of directors asks the question, who is this Chamber Revenue Strategies? Very oftentimes they're angling from the perspective of due diligence. So let me help you there. Chamber Revenue Strategies was founded by me as a spinoff from a related company that offers new residents gift packages welcoming them to the community. In 2014, I purchased a franchise for the entire state of Indiana, all of the Indiana markets, from a 55-year-old A+ Better Business Bureau rating nationwide welcoming service that offers housewarming gifts and gift packages to new homeowners, similar to what you might think of a welcome wagon. And I fell in love with the idea of doing well by doing good, making a living by offering unexpected gifts to residents as they move into the community. I fell in love with the business, and I fell in love with the idea of making a living by offering gifts to unexpected residents. And in short order, the state of Indiana, of all places, right, became the single most successful franchise, the single most successful franchise system in the entire country for this nationwide 55-year-old welcoming service. And as a result of that, I was promoted within a year of purchasing those franchises to running all of the national operations for this organization. And I was responsible for the recruiting of new franchises, training the existing franchises, the development and management of a national field force. So I'm currently in negotiations to purchase that organization. Again, founded in 1963. Excited about the possibilities of that. As the original owner, founder, and current operator of the business has reached retirement age. The Chamber Revenue Strategies leadership team has 4.5 years of experience in the creation, fulfillment, and distribution of gift packages. Exactly what we're proposing to do for your chamber. We have 4.5 years of experience of successfully marketing these Goodwill gift packages to small and medium-sized businesses, as we would be promoting with your Chamber of Commerce. We also have experience in the training of the marketing of our program to other franchises all around the country. So we're extremely well qualified and suited to serve your Chamber of Commerce. Let's take a look at some of the key people in the organization. I'm really blessed to have been able to attract a first-class team to assist me in the operations of Chamber Revenue Strategies. First and foremost, let me share with you that we have Kerry Bernard that's involved in the organization. He's our Director of Information Technologies. He has over 10 years of experience in that space. Clearly the smartest guy in the company, and he's involved in setting up our systems and systems integration and networking, and he's involved in all of the data retrieval associated with being able to find birthdays and weddings and births and new businesses and homeowners and the like, and just an essential part of the team. Nextly, let me share with you that we were able to attract Mark Kuhn to the organization as our Director of Graphic Design and Fulfillment. We're very lucky to have him. He's 30 years of experience in graphic design and strategic marketing. Mark is a centerpiece in the organization, but he has experience in working with the NCAA and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the Pacers and the Colts. He wrote a jingle for the Colts at one time, but he's worked for numerous Fortune 500 companies, and he leads everything that you see from Chamber Revenue Strategies from our website, anything that you've seen, any graphics or visuals you can attribute to Mark. He's clearly the most creative person on the team. Jackie Tuttle has 20 years of experience in finance and customer service in insurance and the hospitality industry. She's our Director of Finance and Customer Service. And clearly you'll find her to be the most pragmatic person on the team. You're going to find her to be the level-headed one in the organization that is the glue that holds us together. Rick Wyant, who happens to be my uncle, if you noticed his last name, is the most experienced person on the team. He is a Director of Printing Operations with 35 years of experience in printing, and most of that owning and operating his own commercial printing establishment. And then myself, I'm the founder and president, and it's my job to stay out of their way to a large degree and then provide for them the resources that they need to be successful in their positions. I'm frequently asked the question by chamber executives and also their boards, why is it that I'd want to send a birthday card to residents? That's not really my market. Our market is businesses. So that's a fair question. I have a question for you. Why is it that we have at the Chamber of Commerce non-dues revenue programs? One reason, of course, is to generate non-dues revenue, to create some revenue for our coffers, separate from the revenue that we collect from members with their membership dues. And this will be the single most effective way to achieve that you've ever seen. A way to get your mind around the number is roughly $6, as the most conservative estimate, could be as much as $9, but say $6 for every single adult resident in your community straight to your coffers by participating in this program. That's going to be a powerful injection of capital for you and your chamber. Why else do we attract these programs for our Chamber of Commerce? Well, we do it because we want to have a reason, a marketing reason, to be able to attract new members in. We want to serve the members that we have. Well, although you don't have a target market of the residents in your community, the businesses that enroll with you definitely do. And you're going to provide, with the credibility of the Chamber of Commerce, access to those residents in a way that your members could never get to them. The Chamber of Commerce reaching out with a birthday card that has your logos and picture of your executive and board of directors on there, is going to get to that resident and allow the member to give their marketing message, to be able to provide their free gift. So you're going to serve your members and help them solve their single most vexing problem. What problem is that? How is it that I can attract a steady stream each and every week of new customers that are coming in my door that are excited to trade with me because they have a gift certificate in their hand, and then based upon having redeemed that gift and feeling the gratitude of receiving it, want to give their future business, their loyalty, and their referrals, all because of the fact that that member is a member in good standing with your Chamber of Commerce. And lastly, what else do we have these programs for? To attract new members. Well, we're going to be out there talking to every single business in your community, whether they're a member or not. But those non-members that want to participate in this program are going to be told they have to get a hold of your office to be able to enroll in the program so that they can participate in the program. And lastly, in my opinion, this is a throwaway. You may not share this opinion, but my opinion is that a lot of chambers are a little bit narrow in their thought of, I don't care about the residents, I'm only focused on the community. Frankly, we're going to make an enormous splash in your community by touching in a very heartfelt, sentimental way each and every resident in that community. These cards are going to show up on social media. They're going to be the talk of the town. Business owners are going to hear, hey, Larry, are you a member of the Chamber of Commerce? I just got a bunch of birthday gifts from them. And he says, no, I'm not a member of the Chamber of Commerce. Why aren't you a member of the Chamber of Commerce? Or maybe his reply is, yes, I'm a member. Well, are you participating in their new program? It's so exciting. So it's going to create a buzz and an enthusiasm for those that are members of the Chamber, or those that are not are going to want to figure out what this is all about. So let me just share with you just an analogy. One of the highlights of my entire life was when I was 12 years old. My father was the coach of my Little League team, and we had great success in that particular year, and that team was sponsored by a funeral home, Herman's Funeral Home. Question might be, why would a funeral home want to sponsor 12-year-old little boys? They're a long way, most of them, hopefully, from having the need of funeral services. Well, I can tell you that my father was served by Herman's Funeral Home when he passed away at an early age. His father, a year later, probably because of the grief of losing his son, was served by Herman's Funeral Home. His mother was served at Herman's Funeral Home. My mother, who's 76 years old at this point, has told me on no uncertain terms, there's no place on planet Earth that I want to be viewed at and have my funeral handled by other than Herman's Funeral Home. And chances are excellent that I will end up there, as well as other members of my family. So what is the average revenue or profit that comes from a single funeral? And the few $100s that it probably costs for them to support a team. So although it doesn't directly touch the end user, okay, you're going to benefit profoundly from reaching out and giving a love offering to every single member of your community. A reasonable question that you might ask is, what does a member have to invest? What do they have to do if they want to participate in your program? And the first answer, a knee-jerk answer, might be anything, any number they want, any investment that they elect, whatever suits their needs. And I'm not trying to be coy with you there. That probably needs a little clarification. Let me say to you first and foremost that we understand the dynamic between a chamber and its members. And there can't be a situation where a member is involved in a program A they don't want to be involved in, or that they're not happy with in some fashion. And we've taken great care to protect both you and us from anything of the sort. So let me begin by saying that there is no initial investment whatsoever for a member to participate in our program. Our housewarming gift program has a $250 initial registration fee, if you will, for graphic arts and other things. Nothing like that here. There's just simply no cost to participate in the program. Secondarily, your member will enter into no contract. What's usual and customary for this kind of a program from a marketing standpoint is, do you want a 6, a 12, an 18, or a 24-month agreement? And then the pricing is tiered based on how long you elect to be involved. We don't want any of that. We don't want a member to be involved even one day longer than they want to be involved. So there's a simple escape clause. Anytime a member wants to step away on demand, they can step out of the program. Let me say to you that when we design the gift certificate for your member, and you'll see the high quality of the work that we're able to do under Mark Kuhn's leadership, no graphic art charges, no nickel and diming, no extra fees of any kind. If a member wants to change their certificate every month, or change with the season, or change for the purpose of testing, or whatever their thinking might be behind it, there isn't change charges. We incur expenses, of course, but your member is not going to feel any of that. It's all transparent to them. We want to make it as painless and simple and easy as possible for your members to participate. So what is the investment? It simply costs $1. It costs $1 to have a gift certificate on the birthday, or later as we roll out the program for the new baby, or the new home, or the new business, or for the wedding, to participate in the program. And that is an outstanding value to your member, because redemption rates are so high for gifts. What do you think the redemption rate is for a free pizza, or a box of donuts, or a free massage, or a free oil change at an auto dealership? It's virtually 100%. So as business people yourselves, many of you, can you attract somebody into your business, walk through the door, excited to trade with you for a single buck? Name 9 other ways you can achieve that. It just simply can't be done unless it's being led by the Chamber of Commerce. So a single dollar will attract somebody into the door. So then the question is, how many single dollars, Cole, are we talking about? And the answer is, again, your member simply gets to decide. Let me give you an example. Let's say we're dealing in a small community that has 10,000 adults, because the math will be easy. That's a couple hundred birthdays a week, right? Birthdays happen 52 weeks of the year. So $1 times a couple hundred birthdays a week, you might say, well, some of our members, $200 a week might be just too strong for them. And we realize that. We want them only involved to the level that they're comfortable in being involved. So an example of that is they can choose the gender that they want to work with. They can choose only men or only women. Roughly speaking, that's going to cut the investment in half if they elect to do that. But also, if they're a barber shop, they may want to target only men, because frankly, that's the only place they're going to see a return on their investment. If they're a tanning salon, or a yoga studio, or a ladies' hair salon, naturally they're going to do better if they focus primarily on women. So they can either dial in, or they can reduce their investment based upon gender. But it's even better than that. We can carve it up by zip code, as an example. So they can essentially only give gifts to people that are in a 3 to 6 mile radius of their place of business, if that's their preference. They can also then carve their investment down, or laser in on their target market even more closely by age. They can mail to people that are 25 to 44. They can mail to people that are only 45 to 64. Think of a hearing aid company. They can provide gifts to people that are 65 and older if they choose. So they can carve by zip code, by gender, by age. So if someone wanted to, they could say, my market is men from 45 to 64 that are in this particular zip code. And in a situation like that, they're probably looking at 15, 20, 25, maybe 30 gift certificates in the course of a typical week, an extremely modest investment. Think pizza. That's the number one category for us. all pizza places are going to want to be involved. Well, they may very well say the average family spends $575 a year in pizza. It's sure worth it to me to offer them a birthday gift through the Chamber of Commerce for a free pizza to lure them in and let them taste ours. Let us win them over and then win their pizza business for future years. A board of directors considering our proposal may wonder, what are the corporate capabilities of this organization? And I've mentioned to you that we have an in-place organization that's in the business of providing gift packages, so this is a simple spin-off to that. So let me say to you that Chamber Revenue Strategies does absolutely no outsourcing at all. We just simply don't depend on vendors, and it's one of the reasons why on an ad hoc basis we can just shift on a dime in terms of being able to serve your members. So we can change their graphics, we can change the card, we can do whatever we need to do and be very nimble because of the fact that absolutely everything is done in-house. All fulfillment is done under our roof. All graphic design is done by Chamber Revenue Strategies employees. All printing is handled by my uncle with 35 years of experience in commercial printing and running our printing operations with our printing equipment and our die cutters, if you will. That all mail that's going out, we don't take advantage of bulk rate. Would you like to receive a greeting card for some kind of a celebration? Bulk rate? Of course not. So all of our mailing is done first class, but we have shipping docks, mail right from our location, unload and take it right to the post office from our location. That our telephone technology, as an example, falls under our roof. That's Carrie's responsibility at Information Technologies. But the point of the matter is that we have to have vendors for just simply supplies, ink, paper, to provide lists for us as we're acquiring them to meet the needs of your local community. But all of these vendors are long-standing vendors with our organization, some of them for decades. And these relationships are firmly in place, and these are folks that can be counted upon. But in terms of the actual work, there's absolutely no outsourcing whatsoever. We're domiciled in the old A&P building in Indianapolis, where we have docks and warehousing for printing, and we at the same time have our corporate offices there. So from a corporate capability standpoint, we're completely set up to be able to meet the needs of your Chamber of Commerce. The business people on the board are always curious, how do you make money and how are you able to be so generous with the Chamber of Commerce? And that's part of the DNA of a business person first and foremost, but I think also from a due diligence standpoint, this has to make sense. I've got to figure out how you can make money, how this is going to be worthwhile for you if this proposal that you are putting forth is going to be realized. So let me give you a little bit of a glimpse. It's a very profitable opportunity, but let me give you a little bit of a glimpse, which will share with you why we're able to be, again, so generous and be so helpful in non-dues revenue to your Chamber of Commerce. Let me begin by saying to you that the product that we offer, we're doing everything in-house, okay? So we're sending a greeting card, essentially, with a first-class stamp. The freight is 71 cents. But as we open it up, this, although it's very well done, it's all paper and ink. And it's things, obviously, that we're buying in great volume. And our all-in cost for a unit, graphic, arts, everything combined, is about $3 for each individual card that's going out. That's going to include 25 gift certificates that are part of the program. Okay, these gift certificates obviously are something that we can print, very classy, but we can print them at less than a penny each by doing them in volume and handling everything ourselves. So our total cost is about $3. So $3, right? As you know already, it's going to cost about $1, the investment for a sponsor, one of your members, to add a gift certificate into one of our packets. So typical packet's going to have about 25 gift certificates, might see 30 or 35 in many cases. That's not a high percentage of your members that are electing to take part in the program. May see a less successful program with 15 or 20, but 25 is a good number for you to get your mind around. So I bet you can do the math. 25 times $1, okay, per certificate, $25 in total top-line revenue for each packet that's going out the door. 25% of that $25 a quarter of all revenue that's taken in that example is going to be going to your Chamber of Commerce. Your Chamber of Commerce executive directors oftentimes tell me that when I talk to someone about non-dues revenue, they say, we'll give you 2% of this or 5% of that. Most businesses don't profit $25, let alone have the opportunity to share $25 in top-line revenue, but we're comfortable in doing that. Obviously, that's going to be $6 or a little over for the chamber per birthday, per wedding, per birth, per new homeowner, and per new business that's created. It'll be a massive amount of infusion of cash for you. And then net, I mean, how does Chamber of Commerce, or how does Chamber Revenue Strategies make money? How does Chamber Revenue Strategies make money? Well, net profit, I bet you can do the math. 25 minus 6, $19 in net unit yield for every single packet that goes out. Well, $19 times how many birthdays are there? $19 times every birth, every wedding, every new home, and every new business that's created inside of your community. So it's a profitable program for you. I'll assure you it's a wildly profitable program for Chamber Revenue Strategies. And the big winner in the process, though, don't forget, is going to be the member sponsor who for a single buck is getting an excited customer to walk through their door, enthusiastic about redeeming their gift and trading with them and giving them their future business. And then the resident, who's caught off guard, who is taken by the collar and shook with a goodwill gift package from your Chamber of Commerce that has $250, $300, maybe more dollars worth of gifts from the Chamber of Commerce to help them celebrate their birthday or any celebration that we might call to their attention. So that's how we can afford to be as generous as we are with your chamber. And we're enthusiastic about making an important impact to you financially. And I'm sure as a board, there's a plethora of ways in which you can find to distribute that money to serve your community. Your job is to be a vanguard and protect your members. And some chambers that I've spoken to in the past have had some experiences where when they have created a strategic alliance with an organization, that organization hasn't held up their end of the bargain, or even worse yet, maybe been a little heavy-handed with their members, or even worse yet, maybe not met their commitments. The guy was supposed to be here at 2 o'clock and he never showed, or when he did show, I couldn't get him out the door without going forward with his concept or whatever. So I want to set aside any fears that you have in that regard. The question I often get is, how are my members going to be approached exactly? And that seems to be a real important issue, so I want to make sure and get that on the table with you here. First and foremost, the answer is, and I don't mean to be coy with this, but however you want to see them approached. You're going to have major input on that, or your executive director will have major input in that. I heard it said once that if you have 5 children and you treat all 5 of them exactly the same way, you've likely treated 4 of them incorrectly. There are nuances unique to specific communities, and we're going to take our lead definitely for what you've seen in the past is the most effective way to address your community, although we very definitely have some ideas. One example is we certainly are going to build a website and have everything approved associated with that website specifically for this program and your Chamber of Commerce. The URL or domain will be yourchambername.goodwillprogram.com. The facade will have your branding, again, approved by your executive director, maybe even a video or pictures associated with your chamber to be welcoming to your members as they land on the site. We'd appreciate the opportunity to link potentially that site to your primary site. But we're going to use technology in that regard with tutorials and the like, videos like this, to be able to help educate your members about this exciting new opportunity that's available to them. And we'll give them some insight, how to choose the most appropriate gift for your gift certificates. How much exactly is it going to cost? And it'll have breakdowns of how many birthdays are there in this particular zip code and this particular age range with this particular gender. So the website will be substantial. In addition to that, we'd like to do things that are a little more personal. We'd hope maybe you'd allow us to sponsor a lunch and learn opportunity. I know a lot of chambers do lunch and learn programs. Oftentimes there's a minor investment for members who would like to attend, maybe to pick up the cost associated with lunch. We'd be delighted to sponsor that and make it free to your members, where we capture the maximum attendance that would be available. Plus, it's my view that if we're going to be serving your members, that we ought to go out of our way to make it comfortable for them. So it'd be a free lunch and learn kind of opportunity. There will be webinars and invitations to webinars that would be sent to your members, where they can opt in and elect to sit in and listen electronically. The beauty of a webinar is if they don't like what they hear, they can click right out of it and step away and go to work on something else. On the other hand, if the timing of the webinar doesn't make sense for their schedule, those webinars will be recorded and be available to them to view at their leisure. We envision a direct mail program with your permission. The direct mail program could go a variety of different directions. As you know, we have our own printing facility and capabilities in that regard. We're in the mailing business, so we have the ability, we believe wholeheartedly in direct mail as a marketing vehicle. But one idea, just to bounce it off of you here, is what if we had a $100 registration fee, and then we sent every single member a $100 bill, a $100 piece of currency that was printed with your executive director in the middle as their picture in it, and say this $100 bill can be used to have no registration fee whatsoever in the program if you elect to want to be involved, or your logo potentially could be in the center. But we would envision collaborating with your executive director on a direct mail campaign. In addition, our vision would be to extend that to non-members, which we'll talk about in another video, to reach out and attract new members into your Chamber of Commerce. I would picture a seminar. All of you have received seminar invitations to come and enjoy a free dinner and have a speaker talk to you about an interesting topic of one type or another that runs in the financial services industry, as many of you probably have seen. My vision would be that we would have a dinner for your members that they could attend, a free dinner where they could hear about the new program. I'd love to attract a local celebrity. Who in your community would be a draw to bring people to hear about this new and exciting program with the Chamber of Commerce? Your local football or basketball coach? The mayor? Would he like to address business owners in your community? A owner or president of one of the larger employers in town? A pastor? Will find someone who's prominent in your community that we can promote a seminar where they can hear about this exciting new benevolence program, this magnanimous new program through the Chamber of Commerce. We will have a video email concept, which if you reach out to me, I'll send you your own personal video email and see how that can potentially work. Again, non-invasive, non-intrusive opportunities through social media. Facebook is the primary tool we use there, but Twitter's a secondary example. And then we want to use your local connections. You may have members, or you may have sway with local radio stations, local newspapers, where we can send press releases, or we can have your chamber executive or myself be interviewed on a local radio station, as an example, to hear about this new exciting program where we're rewarding every single resident in the community on their special occasions, as an example, their birthday. We'd like to have the opportunity to participate in your conventions, and we'd love to see your newsletter make a splash about this new exciting program. We have writers that will happily participate in the creative aspects of all of that. If you'd like, we could, at your next monthly meeting, have a little 5 or 10-minute video that explained the program created specifically for your Chamber of Commerce. I could come and speak at one of your monthly meetings to talk about the kickoff of this new exciting program to create an opportunity for your members to solve their most vexing problem. What's that problem? How do I create a steady stream of new customers walking in my door inexpensively? So there's a wide range of ways in which we can attack this. My approach would be a full frontal frontal attack where we use multiple sources that we've talked about here to make sure that every member is extremely aware of the opportunities that are available to them, and then they get to simply decide whether they want to participate or not. Should they want to meet personally with a member of the Chamber Revenue Strategies team, we can sit down with them over a cup of coffee at their place of business if they'd like. If they'd like to meet on the computers face-to-face in a Skype type format, a one-to-one webinar type of discussion, GoToMeeting or something like that, that's an option that's available as well. So we're armed to the teeth, so to speak, with tools that will be available to reach out to your members. And then the question just becomes, what are you most comfortable with? And then how do we set a marketing strategy so that we're most effective in being able to both serve your members and create a meaningful non-dues revenue program for you? One of the more powerful benefits to the program, and also one of the most underappreciated aspects of our program, so I want to make sure to emphasize it or call it to your attention, is the fact that Chamber Revenue Strategies will reach out to every single business in your community, members and non-members alike. What's the benefit to you with that? Well, obviously, if we're going to the non-member businesses in your community and we're reaching out to them, then they are going to show interest in the program. They'll show just as much interest in the program, frankly, as your members do. But the caveat will be that the only way they can participate is if they're a member in good standing with your Chamber of Commerce. So think of us as a free, no cost to you whatsoever. We don't want a slice of your revenue that comes in from these new members, but think of us as a sales tool, a sales arm that costs you nothing, that will be attracting members on a regular and consistent basis. So how do we go about approaching the non-member businesses? Well, we're going to have a website specifically for non-members of your association to woo them to the program, and by extension, woo them to your Chamber of Commerce. It'll have the name of the community.goodwillprogram.com. So there will be a specific website uniquely for those non-members where we're wooing them not only to the program, but we're wooing them into a membership. There will be lunch and learns that will be established for non-members specifically. We'll have webinars and invitations sent out, blanketing all of the non-members in the community to opt in and participate. We'll have a direct mail campaign specifically for non-members, unique to the campaign that we have for members, separate from the campaign that we have for members. We'll have video emails and ringless voicemails and social media approaches. They will experience and hear and feel the radio program and the newspaper program. But you know where we're going to be most effective in attracting members? They have birthdays, they have children, they know people that get married, they buy homes, right? They've started businesses or maybe started additional businesses, and they're going to be receiving these Goodwill gift packages. They're going to be hearing about the packages that are being received by their friends. And there's going to be, are you a member, Larry, of the Chamber of Commerce? I just got a wonderful gift package from them. Is your business part of the chamber? Okay. You're going to find a buzz in the community, the stirring of the community that comes from the goodwill offer, the love offerings that are being sent out by the Chamber of Commerce are going to be a magnet for attracting new businesses into the program, which is, of course, an interest to us, and new businesses to become members of your Chamber of Commerce, which, of course, is central to the goals and aspirations you have in your organization. As you may know, we're headquartered in Indiana, and Indiana is about farming, and a lot of the Midwest is farming. And I found that a lot of board of director members for chambers of commerce that I talk to are about like the old farmer. They don't want all the land. They just want the land that is directly adjacent to theirs, if you know what I mean. So the question oftentimes comes up, caught me off guard the first time, but the question oftentimes will come up, what about competitive chambers in our region? Okay, so I thought I'd better address that, the question of exclusivity. And obviously, we can't send birthday gift packages or any other Goodwill gift package in stereo. Someone can't receive two from from competing chambers of commerce. That will never happen, I'll assure you. But sometimes I hear that businesses may buy into our program, buy a membership, and they're in a neighboring community, and they may be a member of multiple chambers of commerce, and we want to have the Goodwill gift program in our region. So are you open to the idea of creating an exclusivity arrangement with our particular chamber? And the answer to that question is, I am open to discussing it. Frankly, I understand that you can't sing the battle hymn of the Republic and Dixie with equal amounts of enthusiasm. You got to pick a team, okay? And if we're an advocate for your Chamber of Commerce, it's unhealthy if we find ourselves also being an advocate for a competitive offering in the local marketplace. Naturally, we're going to look at the opportunity with your chamber and compare it to opportunities with other chambers. But just the fact that we're here, just the fact that I'm interested in talking to your chamber tells you that I've looked at your demographics and I find them favorable, because we do not find them favorable with every Chamber of Commerce in the country. It tells you that I am enthusiastic about the possibility of working with your executive director. I think that executive director relationship with Chamber Revenue Strategies is imperative. And I've obviously felt very good about your leadership and how they may potentially work with us. We don't always see that either with a Chamber of Commerce. So it's quite likely that we wouldn't even be interested in chambers that you may consider a rival. But be open with us, pop that on the table. If there's a question you have about neighboring chambers and how they may or may not participate in the program and how that may or may not impact your decision, raise that issue with us. We'd be delighted to talk with you about it. I'm sure you're probably aware at this point that we at Chamber Revenue Strategies will never ask you for a cent. Okay? The chamber doesn't invest $1 with us under any circumstances. If your chamber director and I are discussing the implementation strategies for the program over lunch, we won't even let them buy lunch. So put that out of our minds. But another point that's worth raising is that there's no contract between the chamber and Chamber Revenue Strategies. We obviously have a massive investment to involve ourselves in this program with your chamber, and we're willing to invest not only every nickel, but we're willing to invest it on the comfort that when we implement the program, you're going to want to continue, but you're not going to be obligated contractually to continue. We believe that the same way that your members maintain customers, that we're going to maintain the relationship with you by exceeding your expectations. So I'm sometimes asked the question, are you open to the idea of a beta test, 6 months or something, where we can give this program a try and then reevaluate based upon results? And the answer is yes. And frankly, we're interested in a beta test with you because we want to make sure that the relationship is everything from your end that we hope that it would be. So we're delighted to maybe look at a 6-month window. I think it's a fair period of time to evaluate the program together, and then understand that the communication will be ongoing and consistent between your chamber office and Chamber Revenue Strategies. But separate in addition to that, we'll supply you a monthly, very detailed report of what's happening in the program, what's happening in every zip code, how many people of a specific gender or age are participating, what businesses in your local community are participating with their Goodwill gift packages. And so it will be Goodwill gift certificates. So that will be available to you on a monthly basis, supplied to your executive director. You'll receive a check from us each and every month on the 15th for the previous month, as long as the 15th doesn't fall on a holiday or a weekend. If so, it'll be the very next business day. Along with that will be the reporting that we're talking about. But at the 6-month point, it probably makes sense to bring me in or a representative of a Chamber Revenue Strategies to sit down at one of your monthly meetings and just present to you what the results have looked like. We can certainly package that for you in a report format or in a video format. But I think personally my suggestion might be the best overall approach. We'll leave that to you. Let me say to you that at the end of the 6 months, we're going to be very interested, having proven ourselves and exceeded your expectations, invitations, first and foremost, that's our priority, to talk with you about expanding the relationship from birthdays to every new business in the community. That's going to be a real boom for you in terms of attracting new members, but every new homeowner, every new birth in the community, and every wedding as well. Remember that you're under no contractual obligation with us whatsoever. You can cancel at any point if you direct the executive director to send us a simple 30 days notice, and you have no upfront investment. But separate from all of that, it's critical to us that we make sure that we meet or exceed, well exceed is my anticipation, your expectations every step along the way. Contingent upon the approval of your board, what are the action steps? How do we get out of the gate with this program? And I've been accused before of being one of these guys that go out after Moby Dick in a rowboat and take with me the tartar sauce. So as soon as you're willing to give us the go-ahead, you're going to find us launched into action. And that's going to involve multi-fronts, but we're going to begin immediately to start designing for your approval, get your input on goodwill gift packages. I assume we're going to begin with birthdays, and so we'll be preparing that information for you. We'll design simultaneously the promotional website that we spoke about. You're going to have your own website specifically for this program. It'll be the suffix for your chamber that you use for your own domain or your own URL, .goodwillprogram.com. We'll have press releases that need to be prepared. We'll collaborate with your executive director on that, but we have writing personnel that will assist with that for distribution to local newspapers and to your radio stations. We'll be soliciting radio interviews with radio stations. If there's a television station, we'd be interested in having a conversation with them about a potential interview. There will be webinar invitations prepared and slides, PowerPoint presentations set up for webinars to introduce your program to members. We'll have a lunch and learn program with your permission where members, maybe non-members alike, are invited to come in for a free, sponsored by Chamber Revenue Strategies lunch and learn about the new program. Non-members, of course, will have to enroll as a member before they're allowed to participate in the program. Well, there will be a direct mail campaign that will be designed specifically for members and a separate campaign designed for non-members in your community. There will be an email distribution of information about the program that will have videos in it like this. There will be a video email program, a drip program that will provide little snippets and interesting facts about the benefits of giving gifts and the opportunity for a powerful return on investment if they choose to participate in the program. Your members will have distribution in a timetable consistent with what is approved by your executive, if it's one per week, one per 2 weeks, whatever it might be, but there will be a consistent program that will be sent to them via email as long as we have your permission to do that. There'll be a monthly meeting mention, we would hope. We'd be delighted to set up a table in the back of one of your monthly meetings if that's in any way useful to talk about the Chamber's new concept, their new member benefit that they're offering members by allowing them to participate in the Goodwill Gift Program. We can even prepare a short promotional video for your next meeting or for each meeting, 5 minutes, less, more, whatever you want, that would discuss the major benefits, create interest for your members in participating in the program. So initially as we get started, the first month especially, will be a beehive of activity at Chamber Revenue Strategies, preparing ourselves to be able to make this the single most profitable, single most beneficial program in the history of your Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for the opportunity to share a few ideas with you and tell you a little bit more about Chamber Revenue Strategies, our leadership team, corporate cultures, maybe answer questions that possibly you have about the program or its implementation or how it might work or be morphed specifically for your Chamber of Commerce. Let me say to you that on behalf of Chamber Revenue Strategies, that to a person, we're all tremendously excited over the potential for a long-term, mutually beneficial professional alliance with your chamber. And on behalf of the organization, let me say to you that we wholeheartedly welcome the opportunity to serve you. We will not let you down. We take your approval in working with us very seriously and will do absolutely everything. We'll leave no stone unturned to make sure that we meet or exceed your expectations, provide your members with a very valuable benefit, create for you meaningful non-dues revenue, and maybe most importantly to us, bless every single adult member in your community as they go through the various celebrations of life. Thanks once again for the opportunity to talk with you today.